Hello and many thanks for joining us. You're watching Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Tabitha John. Do stay with us. The United Nations Economic Commission for Africa disclosed that a new economic structure is vital to reduce the impact of COVID-19 on the continent. This came here today at the launching of the 53rd session of the Economic Commission for Africa. Haptam Washagre reports.
Development and the transformation that we want to attain.
Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said while addressing the meeting that African countries need to maximize their effort to accelerate the realization of digital transformation to handle the impact of climate change. According to the Premier, African nations also need to work further to develop innovative responses in a bid to control the spread of COVID-19.
This time the topic points to the need for African economies to respond effectively to the accelerating pace of digital transformation and the generational challenge of climate change.
The Prime Minister urged African nations to scale up their investment capacity, financing development sector, as well as to narrow the gap between economic inequalities.
On the digital economy, we must scale up our investments, a trend already turbocharged by the COVID-19 pandemic. The digital economy is both a source of growth and a key competitive enabler for other productive sectors. Our ambitious youth, capable and hopeful, connected and technology savvy, are busy addressing problems and diverse as public service delivery, healthcare access, and digital finance.
Speaking on the 53rd session of the Economic Commission for Africa Ministers meeting, Executive Secretary of UNECE, Vera Songwe, said African countries need to work aggressively on new economic structure. This structure, she said, is critical to reduce the impact of COVID-19 pandemic.
We have had three crises, a triple crisis. First, of course, the health pandemic, then an economic crisis and a climate crisis, and if you want, probably a youth crisis as well. We have lost 2 to 3% of our GDP based on ECA estimates, trying to fight the COVID-19 crisis. As ECA, we have continued to talk about the need for liquidity in our African economies.
The pandemic has caused debt accumulation in Africa to rise to an alarming level, it was disclosed. The impact of COVID-19 on poverty and vulnerability has increased over the past 1 year in the continent, Vera noted.
Africa spends about $6.1 billion in social protection, whereas in North America they spend $290 billion in social protection. Again, a decoupling and a gap that is too wide for the economy to recover with it. So what we're calling for is additional injections of liquidity into the African economy.
She stresses that the pandemic also affected the continent's education sector. The 53rd session of the Economic Commission for Africa meeting is being held under the theme Africa's Sustainable Industrialization and Diversification in the Digital Era in the context of COVID-19.
There are challenges more effectively.
Legal experts approached by ETV called upon all stakes to play their fair share for the peaceful and just conduct of the upcoming elections slated for early June this year. The experts also took the time to urge political parties to prioritize national as opposed to divisive agendas during their election campaigns. Alula Teklamariam brings us up to speed.
As the sixth general election is fast approaching, lawyers and politicians convey the importance of collective efforts for the realization of fair, democratic and peaceful election in the country. Some legal experts approached by ETV said all stakes need to contribute their fair share for the conduct of fair and democratic election.
ይሄ ምርጫ ህጋዊ በሆነ መንገድ፣ ሰላማዊ በሆነ መንገድ፣ ዴሞክራሲያዊ በሆነ መንገድ
The government has a mandate to facilitate and create fair and democratic atmosphere for the upcoming election. It is also incumbent upon the government to ensure democratic and credible election. All these security forces, the justice system and the election board should serve the public impartially towards this end.
የማድረግ ወይም የማረጋገጥ ግዴታ የመንግስት ኃላፊነት ነው።
ከመንግስት ከሚጠበቁት ነገሮች አንዱ የሚዲያ አጠቃቀምን ይመለከታል።
We expect the government to create an atmosphere whereby all contestant parties use the media fairly and equally. Besides, there has to be independent environment for the election executives and justice system, including the court, in the election.
Opposition political parties are thus urged to prioritize national agendas.
በአማራጭ ሀሳቦች በሚያቀርቡበት ጊዜም አማራጭ ሀሳቦቻቸው በመቻቻል ላይ የተመሰረተ መሆን አለበት።
When the opposition promote their alternative policies and political philosophies, they should work for genuine political culture. They do not need to undermine others in the hope of getting votes or convince voters.
የምርጫ ፕሮግራማቸውን ወይም ፖሊሲዎቻቸውን በግልጽ ለህብረተሰቡ በግልጽና በቅንነት የማቅረብ
The opposition must promote their policies and strategies in a very democratic way. We want them to be independent from any religious and ethnic dilemma that may instigate conflict among the people.
The legal experts call upon the general public to actively engage in the election process and cooperate with all stakeholders, including the security personnel, to ensure fair and democratic election.
Contesting political parties in the state of Amhara vowed to do their level best to help national unity and sovereignty prevail in the 6th general election. The parties stated that they will work to ensure that the election remains free of violence and chaos. Goshu Meliso has more from the Ethiopian News Agency.
Competing political parties in the state of Amhara vowed to do what they can to ensure the prevalence of national unity during the 6th national and regional elections slated for early June. The parties told the Ethiopian News Agency that they are working for an election to be free from violence and in a manner that respects national unity and sovereignty. Some of the parties called on the public to vote freely to whoever maintains the interest of the people.
Contesting political parties should stand guard for justice, equality, and democracy. We are working hard to respond to the problem of our people only through election. I call upon the people to register as voters in the specified time and cast ballot on the polling day in favor of whoever maintains their benefit.
Others said they are working to ensure that the people of Amhara get proper political representation while at the same time maintaining national unity and sovereignty.
አማራ ክልል ተብሎ የሚጠራው ብቻ ሳይሆን ሌላ ቦታ አካባቢ ያሉ የፖለቲካ ውክልና እንዲያገኙ.
Our top agenda is struggling for the people of Amhara to have political representations in other states of the Federal Republic. Even though democracy is a process and needs time to mature, we're working to lay a firm foundation. We used to fight the previous administration through armed struggle in Eritrea, but we believe that taking part in this election helps nurture democracy.
ስለዚህ እኛ በዚህ ምርጫ መሳተፋችን አስተምሮቱም ትልቅ ነገር ነው.
Still, others say they are preparing ethical code of conduct to realize fair, peaceful and credible election.
We believe that there is a problem of administrative system. The government and the people also understand that, but no one has come up with a workable remedy. But Izema has designed over 41 alternative policies that can curb administrative problems. We believe that this policy will resolve the ongoing problem in Ethiopia.
የሚኖሩ ኢትዮጵያውያን ምሁራን የተሰባሰቡበት ፖሊሲዎች ተቀርጸዋል። አማራጭ ሐሳብ
Contesting political parties urged justice and democratic institutions at all levels for impartiality to prevail democracy, adding the ruling Prosperity Party and others must accept public vote, whatever it may be.
Deputy Speaker of the House of Federation, Etsegenet Mengistu, has conferred with Pakistani ambassador to Ethiopia, Shozab Abbas. Etsegenet briefed the ambassador about the current situation in Ethiopia, besides exchanging views on the bilateral relations between the two countries, which was established more than 60 years ago. She said Ethiopia is keen to strengthen its socio-economic, political, business, investment, and tourism ties with Pakistan, according to the House of Federation. Ambassador Abbas commended the ongoing reforms in Ethiopia and reiterated his country's interest to scale up political, economic, and people-to-people ties with Ethiopia.
Ethiopia has been maintaining operations aimed at making sure that law is observed in the northern part of the country.
As a country, so that we will never allow any, whether they are international or any other organized groups, to intervene and challenge the sovereignty of Ethiopia.
There has been a lot of negative media that has been perceiving that Ethiopia is attacking its own citizens, which is not the case.
Yet we have UN and US government trying to instigate and start a war on Ethiopia. We rebuke that. We want Biden administration to denounce a terrorist organization.
They brought pictures from Nigeria and other countries, which has never been happened in Aksum.
The Ethiopian government is not the reason for what happened in Ethiopia at the moment. It is the Tigray People's Liberation Front that created this problem.
You're watching Addis News Hour. The law enforcement campaign in the state of Tigray is a responsible accomplishment by a government of a sovereign country. The remark was made by Ethiopia's permanent representative to the UN and other international organizations in Geneva, Ambassador Zennebe Kebede. In an exclusive interview with ETV, Zennebe condemned attempts by the UN and Western states to intervene in Ethiopia's internal affairs. Zennebe told ETV that the law enforcement operation in Tigray was conducted in accordance with international law, ensuring the safety of citizens, the prevalence of the rule of law, and most of all, the sovereignty of the nation. According to the permanent representative of Ethiopia to the UN and other international organizations, Ambassador Zennebe, such actions are the day-to-day activities of any government in the world. Take a listen to him.
Ethiopia is a sovereign country. We are cooperating and working with the international community, not only with respect to the current law enforcement operation in Tigray, but in a multidimensional aspect of our international relations, our foreign relations. So the cardinal principles of international law oblige every nation to respect the sovereignty of countries, act on the basis of mutual interest and respect. What Ethiopia demands from the international community is to abide by these cardinal principles of international law, while cooperating on a constructive and a positive way to contribute and support Ethiopia in dealing with providing humanitarian assistance to the Tigray people, and also rehabilitating, resettling and rebuilding Tigray, and also investigating all alleged violations of human rights of any sort. The government of Ethiopia is always ready to work with the international community.
He added Ethiopia's measure against the TPLF clique has not violated any international conventions, adding that the campaign is in line with the principles enshrined in the constitution. Western powers must desist from arm-twisting tactics against the people and government of Ethiopia, he pointed out. The international community's understanding of Ethiopia should coincide with the reality on the ground, he pointed out. No country, he said, keeps quiet when its national defense is attacked by a rebel army. International attempts to force Ethiopia in any other direction is a direct violation of its sovereignty, he said. Take a listen.
Right from the outset, when the TPLF has launched its attack against the Ethiopian Defense Force stationed in Tigray region, we, on the basis of the information we have received from the capital, we have tried to disseminate the pertinent information that shows what happened, including the genesis to the attack of the TPLF against the Ethiopian Defense Force. In due course of time, as the situation progresses, where the law enforcement operation has begun and progressing, we have been updating the international community here in Geneva, specifically the UN specialized agencies and other international organizations in Geneva, all permanent missions of the international community, the countries accredited here in Geneva, the foreign ministries of the 4 countries we are accredited to, Switzerland, Austria, Hungary, and Romania, including some more than 10 media outlets to clearly inform them what happened and who did what. That was the first measure we have taken. In due course of time, we persistently and continuously been informing the objective of the law enforcement mechanism operation as reversing the attack perpetrated by the TPLF, apprehending these criminals and bring them to justice, disarming the forces of TPLF, completing the operation within a very short period of time, as it has been done within 3 weeks, and then starting rehabilitating, resettling, and rebuilding Tigray.
The first Ethiopian Transport Investment Summit will be held in Addis Ababa on March 24th and 25th, 2021, according to the Ministry of Transport. The summit is the first of its kind to be organized in Ethiopia to promote investment opportunities in the transport sector and create a networking platform for foreign and local investors. In a press conference issued today, Minister of Transport Dagmawit Moges said the 2-day event will see discussion on 44 projects that will be developed under the Public-Private Partnership PPP program. The projects that will be tabled at the event include road development, road transport, logistics, railways, and aviation industry, which are part of the country's 10-year perspective development plan, she said. The summit is expected to attract investment as well as facilitate trade of Ethiopian products with Southeast Asian and Middle East countries, the minister said. It will also create an opportunity to bring new and alternative means of transport, promote knowledge transfer, and support the sector with ICT infrastructure and services. And finally, some 57 people die of tuberculosis every day in Ethiopia, according to the Ministry of Health. This was announced during the World TB Day 2021, being commemorated for the 39th time globally and 24th time in Ethiopia today. Encouraging results were registered in the prevention of TB, but more remains to be done, it was noted. You're watching Addis News Hour. A quick reminder of today's headlines. African nations urged to develop innovative responses to control the spread of COVID-19.